What if I told you that a $2,000 payment could be heading your way this January? As we kick off 2026, this isn't just a possibility, it's a critical financial update that every American needs to pay close attention to. We're talking about a two-part economic relief package that combines a fresh stimulus payment with a newly introduced tariff rebate. This isn't a rumor. This is a developing financial event, and the details are absolutely crucial. Who is eligible for this money? Is it for everyone, or only certain income brackets? What exactly is a tariff rebate, and how does it differ from a standard tax refund? Most importantly, what specific steps do you need to take to ensure you receive the full $2,000 you might be entitled to? There's a lot of confusing information swirling around, and we know you need clear, direct answers. In this video, we're cutting through the noise to bring you the essential facts. We'll break down the eligibility criteria in plain English, walk you through the timeline, and explain exactly what you need to know to prepare. We'll cover who gets this money automatically and who needs to take action to claim it. Missing a single detail could mean missing out entirely, and we don't want that to happen to you. This is your definitive guide to the January 2026 combined payment. If you believe getting this vital information is important, please take a second to hit that like button. It helps our channel tremendously and ensures this update reaches more Americans who need to hear it. Alright, thank you so much for hitting that like button. It truly makes a difference and helps get this critical information out to more people who need it. Let's get right into it, because what's unfolding as we speak in January 2026 is one of the most significant financial developments for American households we've seen in quite some time. That $2,000 figure isn't just a number we pulled out of thin air. It represents the combined total of two separate and very different streams of money that are set to flow into the economy. Understanding how each of these works is absolutely essential, because how you qualify for one might be completely different from how you qualify for the other. We're going to break down both of these programs for you, piece by piece, so that by the end of this video, you will have a clear, unambiguous roadmap of what this means for your wallet. First, let's set the stage, because it's important to understand the why behind this. The economic reports from the last quarter of 2025 painted a picture of a national economy that was slowing down more than analysts had predicted. Consumer spending was sluggish during the holiday season, and there were growing concerns about a potential downturn in the new year. In response to these indicators, Congress moved with uncharacteristic speed in the final weeks of the year to pass what is being called the Winter Economic Stability Act. This bipartisan legislation is the engine behind the first and larger portion of the payment we're discussing today. It's a classic economic stimulus, designed with the simple, direct goal of putting money into people's hands quickly to encourage spending and help stabilize the economy. The second part, the tariff rebate, is a completely different animal, born from the complex world of international trade and its direct impact on the price you pay for everyday goods. We'll get to that in a moment, but for now, let's focus on that first piece, the stimulus payment authorized by the new act. This portion of the payment accounts for $2,200 of the potential $2,000 total. Think of it as a direct cash injection. The eligibility for this payment is primarily tied to your income, and the government is using your most recently filed tax return, which for most people will be the one for the 2024 tax year, to determine who gets what. The structure is designed to be very similar to previous stimulus payments, which is good news because it provides a level of familiarity. For individuals, if your adjusted gross income, or AGI, was $75,000 or less, you are slated to receive the full $1,200. For those who file as head of household, that income threshold is higher, at $112,500. And for couples who are married and filing jointly, you can have a combined AGI of up to $150,000, and you will each receive the $1,200, for a total of $2,400 for your household before even accounting for dependents. Now, what if your income is above those levels? This is where the phase-out rules come into play, and it's important to understand them. The payment amount gradually decreases for those who earned more than the baseline thresholds. The formula is a reduction of $5 for every $100 you earned above the limit. So for a single individual, the payment will phase out completely once their AGI hits $99,000. For a married couple, That complete phase-out point is at $198,000. This tiered system is intended to direct the most significant support to low and middle-income families, who are statistically more likely to spend the money immediately and therefore create the intended stimulating effect on the economy. It's a targeted approach that aims to maximize the impact of every dollar being sent out. It's not just about giving money away. It's a calculated economic strategy to shore up consumer confidence and provide a safety net for millions of families who might be feeling the pressure of a slowing economy. Of course, a huge part of this equation involves dependents. The legislation includes an additional payment for qualifying dependents, and this is an area where the details are incredibly important for families. For each qualifying dependent claimed on your 2024 tax return, you will receive an additional $500. A key point here is that, unlike some previous programs, there is no cap on the number of dependents you can claim this for. So, a married couple with 3 children, if they meet the income requirements, would be looking at the base $2,400 for themselves plus another $1,500 for their children, for a total stimulus payment of $3,900. This is a substantial amount of money that can make a real difference, whether it's used for catching up on bills, making a needed repair to a car, or simply stocking up on groceries. It underscores the Act's focus on providing direct relief to American families, recognizing that larger households often face greater financial burdens. One of the most critical aspects of any stimulus program is ensuring the money reaches those who might be the most vulnerable, including individuals who don't typically file a tax return. This includes many seniors living on a fixed income, as well as recipients of certain federal benefits. The good news is that the Treasury Department and the IRS have a system in place for this. If you receive Social Security Retirement, Survivor, or Disability Benefits, SSDI, or Supplemental Security Income, SSI, or benefits from the Railroad Retirement Board or Veterans Affairs, VA, and you did not file a tax return in 2024, you do not need to do anything. The IRS will use the information from these federal agencies to send your $200 payment to you automatically, in the same way you receive your regular monthly benefits. This is a crucial provision that ensures millions of seniors and individuals with disabilities are not left behind or forced to navigate a complicated filing process. It's a seamless integration designed to get the money into their hands with no extra effort on their part, providing that much-needed financial cushion without adding bureaucratic stress. Now let's pivot to the second, and perhaps more interesting, part of this financial news: the tariff rebate. This accounts for the other $800 of that total $2,000 figure we've been discussing. This is not a stimulus payment. It's not about boosting a slowing economy in the same way. Instead, this is a direct result of the government's trade policies over the last 18 months. As you may know, new tariffs were placed on a wide range of imported goods. When a tariff is imposed, the importer pays a tax to the U.S. government, and that cost is almost always passed down to the consumer in the form of higher prices at the store. Over the last year, the government has collected significantly more revenue from these tariffs than was originally projected. After a great deal of debate in Washington, a decision was made to channel a portion of this surplus revenue directly back to the American people in the form of a rebate. The thinking is that since consumers ultimately bore the cost of the tariffs through higher prices, they should be the ones to get a share of the surplus. It is, in effect, the government refunding you for the extra money you've been paying on everything from electronics to clothing. The structure of the tariff rebate is fundamentally different from the stimulus. It is much simpler and broader. It is not based on income levels. Instead, it is being distributed as a flat-rate payment. Every individual who filed a 2024 tax return and meets basic U.S. residency requirements is set to receive a flat $400. For a married couple filing a joint return, that amount doubles to $800. The logic behind this flat-rate approach, as argued by its proponents, is that the impact of higher consumer prices is felt by everyone, regardless of their income. A family earning $50,000 a year and a family earning $200,000 a year are both paying more for a new television or a new washing machine because of these import duties. Therefore, a universal, flat rebate was seen as the most equitable way to distribute these specific funds. It avoids the complex phase-outs and income verifications of the stimulus payment, making it a much more straightforward program to administer and for people to understand. It's a simple concept. If you paid into the system through higher prices, you get a piece of the surplus back. However, and this is the most important part of the entire video, do not assume this rebate money will just show up in your bank account. Here is the critical detail that you absolutely must not miss. To combat fraud and ensure the money is going to the right person at the right address, the Treasury has implemented an extra verification step for the tariff rebate. This part is not automatic for most people. You will be required to visit a new, secure portal that has been set up on the main IRS website. On this portal, you will need to verify your identity and confirm your mailing address and, if applicable, your direct deposit information. This step is mandatory. If you do not complete this verification process by the deadline, which has been set for January 31st, 2026, you will not receive the rebate. Let me repeat that. Failing to take this one simple action will mean you forfeit your $400 or $800 rebate. We will have a direct link to that portal in the description below as soon as it is live. This is an active step you must take. It's an anti-fraud measure, and while it might seem like an inconvenience, it's designed to protect your money and ensure it doesn't end up in the hands of a scammer. So, let's talk about the timeline. When can you actually expect to see this money? The IRS has stated that the two payment streams will operate on separate schedules. For the $200 stimulus payment, the first wave of direct deposits is scheduled to begin starting the week of January 13, 2026. These payments will be sent out in batches, so don't panic if you don't see it on that exact day. The process will likely take 2 to 3 weeks to complete for all direct deposit recipients. If the IRS does not have your bank account information on file from your tax return or from another federal agency, you will be sent either a paper check or a prepaid debit card in the mail. Be prepared for this to take longer. Mailings of paper checks and debit cards are expected to begin in early February and could continue into March, so patience will be key if you're waiting for the mail. The timeline for the $800 tariff rebate is tied directly to that verification portal I just mentioned. Payments for the rebate will only begin to be processed after the verification portal closes at midnight on January 31st. The Treasury's current guidance is that they will begin sending out the rebate payments, both via direct deposit and mail, starting in mid-February. The goal is to have the majority of these rebate payments distributed by the end of March. So, to recap this critical point, you could see the stimulus portion hit your bank account in mid to late January, while the rebate portion won't arrive until mid to late February at the earliest, and only if you have completed the required verification step. It is absolutely vital to keep these two separate timelines in mind to avoid confusion and concern. Tracking these two distinct payments requires understanding that they are two distinct government actions, each with its own schedule and its own set of rules. We know this is a lot of information, and it can be confusing. You have a stimulus payment based on your income and a tariff rebate that requires you to take action. You have different eligibility rules, different payment amounts, and different timelines. It's a complex picture, but by breaking it down, we hope you now have the clarity you need to navigate this situation. The most important takeaways are these. First, check your eligibility for the stimulus based on your 2024 income. Second, and most urgently, be on the lookout for the official announcement that the IRS verification portal is open, and make sure you complete your verification for the tariff rebate before the January 31st deadline. Missing that deadline means leaving money on the table. This is real money that is intended to help you, your family, and your community. Being informed is the first and most important step in making sure you receive every dollar you are entitled to. We created this video to give you the clear, straightforward facts you need. There's a lot of noise and misinformation out there, but our goal is to be your trusted source for what you truly need to know. Of course. Let's continue right where we left off, diving deeper into the nuances and practical steps you need to take. Thank you for staying with us, because navigating the administrative side of these programs is just as important as knowing you qualify. Now, Let's talk more about that mandatory verification portal for the tariff rebate. This is the single biggest hurdle standing between you and that $800 portion of the funds, so we need to be crystal clear about it. The Treasury has indicated this will be a secure system, likely involving an identity verification process similar to what you might have seen with services like ID.me, which has been used for other government benefits in the past. This means you should be prepared to potentially provide more than just your name and social security number. It's plausible you will need a government-issued photo ID, like a driver's license or passport, ready to upload. The system might ask you to take a live photo, a selfie, with your smartphone or webcam to match against your ID. This is a powerful anti-fraud measure. While it might seem like a bit of a hassle, it's a necessary step in the digital age to prevent identity thieves from redirecting your payment to their own accounts. Our strongest recommendation is to be prepared. Have your documents in a digital format, perhaps a clear photo taken with your phone, saved and ready to go before the portal even opens. This will make the process much smoother once you're able to log in. Also, perform this verification on a trusted computer and a secure internet connection. Avoid using public Wi-Fi, like at a coffee shop or library, for this kind of sensitive transaction. This brings us to an incredibly important related topic: scams. With any announcement of widespread government payments, an army of criminals and fraudsters comes out of the woodwork. Their goal is to take advantage of the confusion and urgency to trick you out of your money or your personal information. So let's be absolutely clear on how to protect yourself. First, no government agency, not the IRS, not the Treasury, not the Social Security Administration, will ever call you, text you, email you, or message you on social media to ask for your Social Security number, bank account information, or credit card number to process your payment. That is not how they operate. Any unsolicited contact of this nature is a giant red flag. The official communication will happen through the irs.gov website and potentially through official letters sent to your address on file. Scammers are incredibly sophisticated. They will create fake websites that look nearly identical to the official IRS portal. They will use logos, official-sounding language, and a sense of extreme urgency to pressure you. They might send a text message that says something like, "Your $2,000 payment is pending. Click here to release your funds immediately." If you click that link, it will take you to a fraudulent site designed to steal the login information you enter. Or they might call you, pretending to be an IRS agent, and claim there's a problem with your file that requires you to pay a small processing fee with a gift card or a cryptocurrency transfer. Remember, the government will never ask you to pay a fee to receive a benefit payment. Your stimulus and your rebate are your money. You do not have to pay to get it. The safest and only way to access the verification portal is by manually typing irs.gov into your browser's address bar yourself. Do not rely on links sent to you. Go directly to the source. Now, let's move on to some of the common what-if scenarios, because we know life is complicated and many of you will have situations that don't fit neatly into the standard boxes. A very common question is, what if I haven't filed my 2024 tax return yet? This is a key point. As we enter January 2026, many people will just be starting to think about their 2025 taxes, let alone having filed them. The legislation specifies that the IRS will use your most recently filed return. For the vast majority of people, that will be their 2024 return. If, however, you have not yet filed for 2024, the system will default to your 2023 return to determine your eligibility and payment information. This is great for ensuring people don't miss out, but it can create complications. For example, if your income was lower in 2024 than in 2023, you'd want the IRS to use the newer information. The legislation does include a provision for a look-back or reconciliation process. This means that if you receive a reduced payment or no payment at all, based on your 2023 income, but you are eligible for more based on your 2024 return, you will be able to claim the difference as a refundable tax credit when you file your 2025 taxes next year. It's a bit delayed, but you will eventually get the full amount you're entitled to. Another frequent situation involves life changes. What if you moved since your last tax filing? This is particularly important for those who are expecting a paper check or debit card. If the IRS has an old address for you, your payment will be sent there. It is paramount that you update your address with the IRS as soon as possible. You can do this by filing an official Form 8822 change of address with the IRS. Processing this form can take some time, so acting quickly is in your best interest. Similarly, if you have closed the bank account the IRS has on file, the direct deposit will be rejected. When this happens, the IRS will not attempt a second deposit. Instead, the system will automatically switch your payment method to a paper check or debit card, which will be mailed to your last known address. This will, of course, introduce a significant delay in receiving your funds, so ensuring your information is current is the best path forward. Let's discuss a scenario that affects many growing families. What if I had a child in 2025? The stimulus payment is based on dependents claimed on your 2024 or 2023 tax return. A child born in 2025 will not be on that return. Does this mean you miss out on the $500 dependent payment for your newest family member? The answer is no, but you will have to wait for it. Just like the income reconciliation, you will be able to claim the additional $500 dependent credit when you file your 2025 tax return. It will be added to your refund or will reduce the amount you owe. While it's not immediate cash in January, the system is designed to ensure you eventually receive the full amount intended for your family size. This is a critical detail for new parents to understand so they don't worry that they've been overlooked. Now let's zoom out for a moment to consider the broader economic context. This two-pronged financial package is a direct response to a very specific set of economic circumstances. The stimulus portion is a classic Keynesian economic tool. The idea is to counteract a contraction in the business cycle. When people have less money, they spend less. When they spend less, businesses earn less, which can lead to layoffs and further economic slowdown, a vicious cycle. A direct stimulus payment acts as a circuit breaker. It injects liquidity into the base of the economy, boosting consumer demand and giving businesses the revenue they need to maintain operations and payrolls. It is a preventative measure designed to stave off a potential recession before it can fully take hold. The tariff rebate, on the other hand, addresses a different economic issue: inflation and the cost of living. While the rate of inflation may have cooled from its peak, the cumulative effect on prices remains. Families are still paying significantly more for groceries, gas, and household goods than they were a few years ago. The tariffs, while generating revenue for the government, contributed to this price pressure. The rebate is a recognition of this fact. It's a mechanism to return some of that increased cost directly to the households that paid it. It's less about stimulating new spending and more about offsetting the financial strain that has been building up on family budgets. So while both programs result in money in your pocket, they are tackling two different sides of the same economic challenge: ensuring the stability of the economy while also providing direct relief for the financial pressures felt by ordinary citizens. Understanding this dual purpose gives a fuller picture of the government's strategy and why both of these components were deemed necessary at this particular moment. For those of you who might be managing the finances of an elderly parent or a relative who has recently passed away, there are specific rules to be aware of. If the eligible recipient was alive at any point during 2026, their estate is generally entitled to the payment. The payment should not be returned. However, if the payment is made in the name of someone who passed away prior to January 1, 2026, the Treasury Department's guidance in similar past situations has been that the payment should be returned. This can be a complex area, and it's always best to consult with a tax professional if you find yourself in this situation. The same advice holds true for U.S. citizens living abroad. Generally, if you meet the income requirements and file a U.S. tax return, you are eligible. However, the logistics of receiving the payment, especially the rebate that requires portal verification, can be more complex from overseas. Again, staying tuned to the official irs.gov guidance for expatriates will be your best course of action. In summary, the path to receiving your full $2,000 involves both passive waiting and active participation. The stimulus portion should arrive automatically for most people, but you must be vigilant about your current information on file with the IRS. The rebate portion requires a direct, time-sensitive action from you to verify your identity. Your biggest defense against missing out is staying informed and being proactive. Your greatest defense against fraud is a healthy dose of skepticism and a commitment to only using official government websites. We will continue to track every development related to this story. Our commitment is to provide you with the information you need when you need it in a way that is easy to understand. We know this matters. It's not just about numbers on a screen. It's about your rent, your groceries, your car repairs, and your peace of mind. If this in-depth explanation has been valuable to you, please do us one more favor and share this video. The more people we can empower with this knowledge, the better. Be sure to subscribe and enable notifications because we will be releasing a short, urgent alert the very moment that IRS verification portal is confirmed to be live. You won't want to miss that notification. Thank you for your time and for trusting us to bring you this vital report. Stay safe, stay informed, and we look forward to seeing you in our next update.